This episode of the Kind of Funny Gamescast is brought to you by Dollar Shave Club. There's no reason to use a cheap disposable razor or pay a ridiculously high price for some gimmicky, unnecessary nonsense. Make the smarter choice and join Dollar Shave Club, the key to getting a fantastic, high-quality shave at an affordable price. And right now, they're giving away a 1-month trial of any of their razors for just $1. And again, it's the Dollar Shave Club with free shipping. So here's the deal. I've been looking good. I've been, cleaning up. I like my beard. But you got to clean up the little upper side, the lower side, a little lower east side. It's all that stuff. There's no long-term commitments, no hidden fees, and you can cancel whenever you want. You can get your $1 trial at dollarshaveclub.com/kinda. That's dollarshaveclub.com/kinda. Get your shave on. That's not their actual tagline. I just feel like it should be. What's up, guys? Welcome to the first ever episode 112 of the Kind of Funny Gamescast. As always, I'm Tim Gettys, joined by one half of the coolest dudes in video games, Greg Miller.
Hey, how are you?
And joining us for his expert insight, the producer/seducer, Nick Scarfino.
Also known as the champ. What do you suppose this thing is? Did it come out of me?
That looks like the top of, that looks like the top of a shoelace, but I think it is one of the tops off we just barbecued. I think it might be one of the tops.
Okay, one of the utensils.
Did you get it out of it? You get it out of the kitchen?
It may have gotten stuck to my glass when I put it on the kitchen.
That would make sense. Yeah, that makes perfect sense.
A lot of sense.
You make a joke about it. I want to make very clear, of course, Colin Moriarty has left Kind of Funny. There's videos up, there's posts up, there's all sorts of information about this. I assume at this point you would know about that. Nick isn't here just to be like all goony and stupid like Nick gets to be sometimes.
Oh, no.
He's here because
I thought you meant the one half of the coolest dudes in video games thing was a joke. No. He's still a half. He's still out there.
Oh no, Colin's still super at the other half of the. Yeah, no. I was already moving on from that.
Yeah. Oh, there's no joke.
Nick is here for purpose.
Yes.
We brought Nick for purpose this week.
I am?
Yeah, because the first topic of the day is going to be Greg Miller's Mass Effect Andromeda review in progress.
Indeed. And so you are a Mass Effect fan. You can ask me intelligent questions.
Yes.
Yeah, because I don't play Mass Effect.
Exactly.
So, first off, as a fan.
No. Because there's a whole
hit the table?
There's a whole rigmarole. No, there's not even a rigmarole for that. There's a rigmarole of if you, ladies and gentlemen, are watching this on patreon.com/kindoffunnygames, thank you for your support and getting early access to this episode. The problem is the Mass Effect review embargo lifts Monday at 12:01 a.m. So we can't put this up on Friday. Mm-hmm. So we're going to do the rigmarole, everything you got to do. And then when we get ready for the Mass Effect review in progress, we got to clip that out and you can watch it YouTube on Monday.
Yeah. So get hyped about all that. And if you didn't know, this is the Kind of Funny Gamescast, where each and every week we get together and talk about video games, all the things we love about them, and all the, criticisms and critiques that we have about the industry and all that good stuff. You can get it early on patreon.com/kindoffunnygames, or you can get it late on youtube.com/kindoffunnygames. But if you go on Patreon, you get a whole bunch of perks, you get a whole bunch of goodies, just like my boy Salem Ghanem did, producer of this here fine show.
Producer/seducer.
The Kind of Funny Gamescast. And also all these people, these fine folk supporting this, making this show happen. Thank you.
Thank you for all your support.
Very much.
We need it more than ever.
For everything. How you guys doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm a little tired.
Yeah.
We had a little barbecue today.
We did.
On the Kind of Funny morning show.
And nothing gets you ready to go on camera like a ton of ribs and beer.
Yeah.
That's really a great idea.
I'm feeling tired.
Yeah.
A little tie.
Sure. You're all tuckered out.
This is my
been a long
fifth
week.
Coffee of the day.
Fifth? That can't be correct. Is that real? Your fifth coffee of the day?
It's my fourth coffee.
I was going to say, well, even that's not healthy.
It's not.
Yeah. I didn't have any because I knew I was going to have the beer.
You guys decided, the day drinking, by the way, gets harder as you get older. I just want you to know that. It hits you quicker and it makes you want to go to nap time a lot faster.
Yeah.
So you should just know this. Just understand this especially when you're drinking those IPAs that just hit you right in the gut.
It's that nap time.
It
nap
is.
time for Timmy.
Don't
we need
judge
to have, if we had one more spare room in this studio, we would have a little hammock. We go in there and just sleep. Like I would make it like soundproofed and stuff.
Or what I always wanted was, remember Different Strokes?
Oh, yeah.
The show Different Strokes?
Yeah. What are you talking about?
What you talking about?
Excuse me, Willis. What are you talking about?
I hate to interrupt you, Willis, but what would you be talking about? I always liked their bunk beds that weren't on top of each other. They did like that. They made like tea. We should do that.
Yeah.
I had bunk beds like that.
Really? Oh, Kevin's trying to chime in.
He's been there for like 45 minutes.
If you guys want hammocks, we can definitely have hammocks outside.
Sure.
It's just like that.
An outside hammock might not be a great idea
Francisco?
considering
No,
today is
I'll
the
get-
first day
no.
it hasn't rained in 45 days.
But we get some down comforters that are
Waterproof?
waterproof and sleeping bags. Boom.
A boom.
Done.
All right.
Speaking of boom.
Yeah.
Greg, bring it.
All right, so here's where we got to cut you off, Patreon people. We'll be back with topic number 2. Mass Effect Andromeda review in progress. We did this before with Zelda, and we have now been milking Zelda for topic after topic. I think it's the next topic after
And
this
we will
one.
continue in the show with Nick's impressions of Zelda.
Exactly. The Mass Effect thing is the exact same boat as Zelda, where we got it. We were at PAX East. It rolled in during PAX East, so then I started it Monday night, but it's been a hell of a week, and so I've only been going. I've put in, for you at home wondering, I've put in 3 solid nights of Mass Effect. So for being conservative, we'll say 6 hours. I would venture probably more towards 8, something like that.
I'll give you a 7. A solid.
You'll give me a solid 7? Thank you very much. Too much water, 7. The thing about Mass Effect Andromeda is this. It was night 3 that hooked me. And that, I have a feeling, the way because I don't rehearse, but I wanted to get my thought. I'm in the shower today. Showering Porty down here. Showering me up here. I'm in the shower with my dog.
Shower with you?
No, I wish that'd be awesome.
That'd be amazing.
I'm in there trying to collect my thoughts. And the more I felt like I talked in my head about Mass Effect Andromeda, it sounded negative. And it's one of those that I don't think it is. I'm enjoying this game. I just think the bar for Mass Effect is so high, and that's the problem. We're recording this on Thursday.
March 16th.
Thank you very much. This is the day that early access has gone live, so you're seeing all of these different posts on Instagram and Twitter and YouTube right now of people making fun of the lack of facial animations, the weird crab walk you'll get sometimes, blah, 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 blah. All of that is true. I was surprised by that. Of course, I went and did that preview event and did a preview here on the Gamescast, and I left that preview event super stoked, and I still am. Especially after last night. I think part of the reason night 1 didn't knock it out of the park for me was that I was again playing what I already played. That's always so hard to come into. All right, cool. This game was cool when I played it the first time, but I know what's about to happen with Scott Ryder. I know who this person is. I know what's going to happen. I know what the big turning points and
Scott Ryder
movie moments are.
Is that his name?
It's Scott or Sarah Ryder. Yeah,
Scott or Sarah. Okay, cool.
Good characters. Very very fond of these characters.
Now,
so
has
far.
anyone made the Ride or Die joke yet with Scott Ryder?
I'm sure someone on the internet has, but you can do it right now if you want.
Scott Ryder Dyer.
You're really blowing it up.
Bringing
I said I
that
brought you in
real
for your
quality.
expertise, and that's what you're.
I'm going to bring the expertise in a second, but you're still getting the shenanigans with it.
So I think that might have not soured night 1, but was like, okay, I'm waiting to get through more of this. But then it was also the fact of playing on PlayStation 4 is a drastically different difference than I played on that PC at that event, where again, it doesn't look bad. I'm not playing this game like, ugh, you know what I mean? But there is things of this doesn't seem like Mass Effect. This doesn't seem like the kind of bullshit that you expect to see in Mass Effect the faces that aren't super emotive. And today, I thought I was crazy because I was thinking about it of just I feel like Mass Effect 1, 2, and 3 had better facial animations that sucked me in more, right? And I was thinking that, and I'm like, but maybe I'm doing that thing where whenever we think of a game that's come before it, we're like, you look back and Mario 64 looks so great or whatever, and you play, you're like, oh shit, this did not hold up. And then there was somebody on a YouTube video that got put in, I think the Polygon article today, where they were putting together, everybody's like, hey, this isn't looking great, where a guy went back and compared it to 1. And I was like, okay, this looks on par with how 1's human faces looked.
Right. And
what Polygon said, to give an out to all the criticism I'm giving, what Polygon said in their article, was Patricia Hernandez today, said in her thing, I fully agree with, on night 1 when I already knew it and I'm like, whatever, and I'm watching, I'm like, oof, Scott's face does not look that great, you know what I mean? The people he's talking to don't look that great. Now, again, not like it's low res, but just not emotive, you know what I mean? The way that I'm like, that's
it's
interesting.
the eyes and the mouth.
Yeah, exactly.
When they don't match up, where it's the eyes are emoting one thing and the mouth's doing another. It's this is kind of weird.
But what Patricia said in an article, I think, rings 100% true and did last night of when you're in there and you're having these great conversations and you're really interested in what these people are saying, you forgive the fact that at some point you're like, well, why does he look like that? That doesn't, you know what I mean? That doesn't, there is this great dynamic that I got a glimpse of during the preview event when they jumped me way ahead and I got to see the team around the round table of, they're out at the Tempest planning the next mission. Playing through the game this time around on my own, getting to that first time where there's a meeting or whatever, and they all kind of just walk off and he's like, meeting dismissed. It's funny, and seeing how the characters play and how different they are, I'm already really into them and what their characters are and where that's going. And for me, that's what a Mass Effect game is. You know what I mean? What I was talking about when Mass Effect 1, and I give Mass Effect 1 shit all the time, is just the fact that I'm not the military guy. I don't like space on that's always such a stupid thing to say. Colin gave me so much shit for it. I don't like space in like the way that like, you have to sell me on space. And Mass Effect 1 and the whole Spectre storyline didn't work for me, and I got out. Mass Effect 2, I thought Suicide Mission, all right, I'm hooked in. Mass Effect 3, I thought was like the sequel to Mass Effect 2, I'm fine. Mass Effect Andromeda, I think the story is awesome, fascinating, and from the get-go super interesting, right? Of cool, you guys have left during the events of Mass Effect 2, which they don't say that, but that's what they told me at the event, and you put it together if you really want to. It's 600 years later, you've arrived in Andromeda, you are waking up on your giant ship, that has, I think it's 200,000, 20,000 other humans on it. It must be 200,000. You have all the other humans on there or whatever, you're waking up, and now, you're the Pathfinder. You need to go out and you need to find us a new home on this, in this new galaxy. And that's awesome. And it's like, the gravitas of that, right? Of like the speeches before you go out, like that, your father who's the Pathfinder is giving you or stuff and all this, and then the speeches totally it is. And in that moment, I'm like, yeah, okay, I get what's happening. I understand why we're doing this. I understand what we're going out there. And it works on such a great level of getting planet side, and like I talked about in the preview, but then even later on going to new planets, when they give me the control of the Tempest and I go wherever I want, and it's just like Mass Effect 2, right? Galaxy map, zoom in on the little clusters, which planet do you want to go to, mine for stuff, as I know we're all big fans of. But
I love it.
Getting to a new planet and being like, all right, cool, there's a new planet I haven't seen. I immediately bring up the Omni tool and scan it and get the points so I can go back and put those into research so I can then develop those weapons or that armor or whatever the hell I want it to be, that mod. Like, it's very interesting because of course this game is going to be compared to Horizon and Zelda, right? And all these other open world RPG, however you want to classify Zelda, but you know what I mean, open world RPG-ish and all these different things. And the fact that all three of these games, I think the thing I've talked about in the reviews that I don't think I usually ever talk about is discovery and exploration, and that being what this is, and how each one of these games does it so differently. Whereas Horizon was, I got to expand this entire map and see what's going on over here. Cool. And then there's some new machines, but they're all in the same vein. Zelda is, I have no fucking idea what's over that cliff. I'm going to go check it out. And okay, cool. And then the part of the game is the walking and the gliding, whatever comes to me and fights me on the way there. And then this game is, cool, I'm literally exploring, trying to save humanity, let alone like all the other races that are attached, because there's the other arcs coming in that have the Krogan on it and have, Mort's people on it. And so you get into this thing of it all makes sense in such a great base level. And there are like, I was saying it hooked me last night, where I think the intro is awesome. I think when playing the intro both on that PC and a PlayStation 4, I was like, this looks a little bit weirder, because the PlayStation 4 thing, again, it's like, it looks, the facial animations look even weaker, and then it's this weird thing of like movement looks really weird. I haven't had the crab walk we've seen on the internet, but I have seen what, like last night I was running and I was looking over and another character was talking to me across the way, and she was like in strobe, where it's like, bah, ja, ja, you know what I mean? And I'm like, you're not using a biotic, you're just walking really awkwardly, and that's not how that should be, but whatever, you know what I mean?
My question about the looks and the animations of it all. So I feel like a lot of times, especially with the internet nowadays, it's a race to the headline of what's the funniest thing we can say about
100%.
this game. And so it's like once one website, and it usually is Kotaku, has the, oh man, the animations are kind of janky.
We have all these GIFs,
Then it's all these gifts left and right on every site of just, oh yeah, that's happening to me too. Do you think that kind of framed you, or even going into it?
No, and that was interesting. That's why, honestly, it was one of those really refreshing moments of when we review games, and I shouldn't even say that, when we used to review games at IGN, it was very much cool. I'm sequestered for the most part. Maybe I'll talk to somebody else in the office who's playing it, but I'm the guy who's going to have this opinion. And the last few days, it's been that thing of like, does this look bad, or is it me? Am I projecting what I think it should look like? Because I don't remember Mass Effect 3 and Mass Effect 2 looking like this. And that's okay, maybe it is. And then to get up today and look at my phone and have like all these, I'm like, oh, okay, cool. I'm not crazy. Because that's always the fear, is that I was going to come here and be like, I don't think this looks that great. And everybody else is like, it's perfect. And you're like, oh, fuck.
Well, I mean, but even looks aside, I feel like it hasn't been a negative reception, but so far the previews that have been coming out today seem a little bit down on the game.
Sure.
And I think that's because they expect so much from
100%.
A new Mass Effect.
Yeah.
And I think, my question to you is, we've had Resident Evil 7.
Sure.
We've had Horizon. We've had Zelda. Like, so far, the games that people have been looking forward to
Persona
have delivered.
previews have been delivering every reason.
Persona in Japan has been killing it. Like, these 40 out of 40 reviews. Great. Where do you think Mass Effect's going to lie?
I think Mass Effect's going to underperform or underrate. You know what I mean? Again, we're recording this before I've talked to no reviewers. The only person I've talked to about this game is Britt Bromrocker, right? Who's just the biggest Mass Effect fan that there is. And she's playing it for her YouTube channel and stuff like that. And I think this game is going to get. This is here. I mean, the easiest way to sell it is for me in a nutshell to put it right is that it's Mass Effect. If you like Mass Effect, you're going to like this game. It just doesn't feel all the time like Mass Effect, if that makes sense. Because even like going up to crates and getting loot in the game, which, you know, I did so many hundreds of thousands of times in Mass Effect 1, 2, and 3.
Right.
Like, it just doesn't feel satisfying. In the way the information is presented on screen feels, I hate to say this, right? Because I know how many people worked really hard on it. It feels like a lower budget. And it's not, I'm sure it's not, you know what I mean? And like, but like when you start compiling it of like, oh, this is a weird, I'm getting things out of a crate and this is what the inventory screen looks like. And this is weird how these faces and look. And now again, what I'm saying though, to what I'm, you know, is that I can vaguely remember what inventory and getting things out of crates in Mass Effect 1,
Well, the big thing
the
with
trilogy did.
with 1 was that everyone hated the inventory wheel, right? Like when you had to mount weapons or powers and like that, everyone hated.
Oh
it, right?
yeah, was that? I bailed on Mass Effect 1.
And there
so
was like the elevators and the
oh, elevators to hide the
rover
loads. Yeah,
and all that
and that's the big thing
That was
about
the
it, right?
Rover.
Yeah,
Rover,
and like for the nomads in this game, I love the nomad. It's one of those I saw somebody say on one of the articles that it was like wonky. I don't think it's wonky. I think it controls the way you'd expect it to. It drives like the Batmobile Tumbler, not the Batmobile tank we all hate. Like it was like cool. Like you're struggling to get up a hill, you drop it into a 6-wheel motor, whatever it is, and go up there, and you take off and beat the shit out of everything. It's great. But it's the same thing of like. When I'm talking about like Mass Effect, the AAA RPG, right? Like I'm gunning the Nomad at enemies and I hit them and there isn't the satisfying like physics of them shooting off or them. It's like I hit them and then they don't even react sometimes and they back them over and then they die and it's just like, but this is Mass Effect. Like that, you know what I mean? Like that shouldn't be a thing. And I had a weird bug last night where I was driving the Nomad and I'm just, and it's like going and then the sound kept going, but the Nomad froze. And like the dust behind it was frozen too. And I was like, oh fuck, this is a hard crash. But I could still hear it when I was gunning or reversing or whatever. It was just frozen. The screen was frozen, but I wasn't moving, but it was still getting all the audio cues. And so like I tried to pause, I'm gonna pause, and I jumped out the PlayStation screen, I came back in and then it went. It's just like, huh. And there's logic problems with it I found where it's like, all right, cool. There was one of, you know, like any other game, right? Like, okay, cool. We need to get into this place. All right, great. I'm moving to that place. I'm clearing out, you know, it has my little objectives up here. Kill all the, you know, the bad guys. I kill all the bad guys. And then it still says up there, kill all the bad guys. And it's like,
Kill them all.
there's no bad guys
Done.
here. You know what I mean? I run around trying to
There's
get them
not
to
one dude
spawn.
left.
Couldn't do it. And I was like, all right, and killed myself and came back and then killed them and,
And then you get it. You
and then
are
it
one
got
of the
to
bad
go.
guys.
Dun dun dun. No, it's like
very
you
bad.
blow your brains out. Yeah. And so there's been things like that where the game just does it's glitching, you know, on an aspect like that,
that's
or
too
like
bad.
enemies, you know, like just appear behind me. I'm like, what the fuck? All right, cool.
I mean, so it's interesting that you're saying this because, you know, last month we were talking about Horizon and we were having similar issues with it in the conversations with people where they had that same vacant
Sure.
look or it felt glitchy in the conversations because it was just such a big game and there were so many dialogue options and whatever. Mass Effect, known for its massive scope and
Yeah.
a lot of conversation options, all that type of stuff. At the end of the day, you're saying you're enjoying the story.
Yeah.
It has a lot of glitches and stuff. Is it fun?
Yeah, 100%. And that's the thing. Now, here's what I want to say, though, is I think this is an interesting point. And sure, I'm a PlayStation fanboy, whatever. The way we talked about Horizon, right, where the woman's eyes rolled and she did that thing or whatever, and we're like, oh, man, that sucks, but that's just open world, blah, 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 right? I feel like that was here's where the line of acceptance is, and you're a little bit above it or a little bit over it. Whereas I feel like Mass Effect, what I've seen, is below it. And that's why I think reviews are going to hammer it. Because, of course, this isn't the same BioWare team that made Mass Effect Trilogy, right? There's changes everybody knows that Casey's not there, Like, they're already into the Arkham Origins area, right? Of like, we know it's not really your thing, so blah, 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 blah. So now for them to come in and have it be less than, they're going to get hammered for that. And that is going to be, again, now we're like making predictions, which is cool that we get to do that.
I know.
But on review day on Monday, when they all pop, I think a lot of people are going to say it's unpolished but fun.
So Nick,
Yeah.
you are the Mass Effect guy in
sure.
quotes of our group.
Also, I should point out, I'm sorry, real quick. It'll be polished but not fun. And again, 6, maybe 7, 8 hours in.
Yeah.
Maybe as I go on, it gets even better and more polished and all this different stuff. I'm talking about blush here.
Are you excited about playing the game? And does this conversation change that at all.
No, not at all. But I think that my big question was, does it feel like a Mass Effect game? And that's like looking at it, it walks the walk and talks the talk. But the question is, once I get my hands on it, is it gonna be as immersive as that world can be? And now, granted, I never played 3. I only played 2. So only got up to 2, I should say. Didn't play any of 1.
Best one.
Just started with 2. Jumped right into it, kind of read some of the story, and just everyone, that was when everyone was playing 2, and I was like, I don't want to go back and play 20 hours of 1 and then have to jump into 2. But 2 is
20 hours just be talking to the fucking creatures on the goddamn that game.
That's fair. 2, I felt was a masterpiece, though. I mean, it was really a very immersive experience, and it kind of is heartbreaking to me to hear that you're having some of these technical issues take you out of it.
But that's the thing, is that the game is so good that I think that it does overcome its technical hurdles. I'm just talking about from a strictly, I'm a critic, I'm reviewing it, I have to put a score to it. I think they're going to knock it for all these different things.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, again, I don't remember specifically, and this is just my bias when it comes to to in-game cinematic stuff, but I've never thought that anyone's done it specifically well, and I don't remember Mass Effect 2 being any better. I remember the eyes specifically being super dead, and the hair was the thing that always bothered me. So I don't know if that's something that they're just, that's not their priority.
I mean, yeah, exactly.
And you got to play the Naughty Dog games, Nick.
No, I'm sure the Uncharted games are great.
But again,
I've seen
that's
Uncharted 4
you
stuff
understand. He understands too of what a different experience that is of a linear world. You get to control everything, and I get that. And that's the thing about it, where they do it's the thing is, it feels like Mass Effect, right? But then they do so many things that they try to change it up that I don't know if they feel like Mass Effect anymore. Like, there is no, like, for cover, you just walk up and take cover on stuff, which sounds fine, but sometimes it's confusing and weird, and he's not taking how I want it to. I feel the locomotion and the animations for movement, when they aren't doing like the strobe thing I'm talking about, right, which is few and far between in my playthrough, they look better than they did before. But then this time around, they've added in, if you remember that E3 demo where they showed all the platforming, where you're like using your rocket jump pack to jump onto these different pillars and move around, they do that, and that's not done super well. It is that thing of like
PS4 Pro.
Thank
conference.
you. The one where you boost up there on different things and stuff, and you have sometimes, and it's gotten better, but on night 1, it was very much of me trying to jump up to things and overshooting it or undershooting it and not getting where I wanted, or him pulling himself off and then falling off and doing stuff like that. Last night, I went through, I think, the section from the PlayStation 4 Pro conference, and if not that, then a vault very similar to it. And I did not have it. I thought for sure, this is the test. Didn't die. So I'm used to it now. The jetpack makes more sense to me. But it is that thing of easing you into it. What it excels at, I think, is Ryder's a way better character than Shepard was.
More dimensions.
Yeah, exactly. I thought Shepard was a super... I loved my femme Shep, don't get me wrong, but I never connected with her being this, like, I'm this military person, and da-da-da-da-da. And so for her to go drink with somebody or fuck somebody, it was always like... This is weird because you're not giving that softer side. Right. Whereas with Ryder, I'm playing as the male Ryder because he looks like Nathan Drake, sounds like Nathan Drake. Right. And the way they've done conversations this time and gotten away from Paragon and Renegade and done all that, like being able to pick in the moment what it is, there are differences to tone to the Ryder I'm building, to the way he interacts with everybody, which I really enjoy. And then like, the mission that got me last night was, I'm going around this planet. You go to this planet. We need to turn on the atmospheric thing to do all this different stuff. But then once we had done that, we're still on the planet. And then I got to look at the map and see all my side missions. And it started talking about the viability I was bringing back to that planet by knocking off these things, because all these planets were trying to make for human life, inhabitable for human life and stuff like that. And so getting to then go, oh, now I see it, and go do other side missions that I'm opening up, whatever, a new tech wing or whatever the hell it is. And that's taking out the viability. Great. And then there was another one of like, all right, cool, go to this place where, the original colonists had come, but they all got killed. We don't know what happened to them. You go there, and it was that thing of like, enemies, oh my God, blah, blah, blah. And it was like, all right, cool. And I was like, where are they? And you walked out, and there they were, and like they were there. They seemed like people were talking too soon. You know what I mean? Like they triggered at a weird spot. And so then I walk out, and then there's this giant fucking monster they're with, right? And so we kill all the other guys, or for most of them, and then this guy's chasing me around and shooting at his weak point and trying to get around him, getting over here, and then shooting the other guy. And I was like, while this is happening, I'm like, this is an awesome moment. This is where they're winning me over. That I was already interested in what's happening to the colonists, what's happening on this planet, how do I make it better? And now this is happening. Now there's this cool unforeseen circumstance. And so I stayed on the planet, clearing up all the side missions I could. And there's one great one that's, I'm not going to spoil for you, but it's like this guy, when you're back on the not the raft is what I want to call it, but where the Tempest docks to the thing where everybody's staying in, right? I forget the name of it right now, but it's where everybody's supposed to be, and you get there and it's not how it was supposed to be, but you suddenly start helping it out, right? They have their first murderer there, where this guy, that everyone's like, he clearly killed this guy. The guy says he didn't. The wife hits you up and she's like, oh, Pathfinder, can you help me? And so like, I took the mission, of course, talked to the guy. I'm like, yeah, I'll look into it later. And then it turned out it was on that planet. And so then to go around and piece together that thing, it was like, oh, okay, cool. And then when you inevitably get to the end of the quest where I go back in and I want to report to Tan, who's the guy who's like in charge at the moment of the whole structure or whatever. I'm talking to him, voiced by a friend of the show, Kumail. I'm talking to him and eventually he's like, all right, cool. Well, this is a tough decision. Like, which one do you want to pick? And like, there's that decisive, like, here you go, right? And I literally put the controller and I was like, fuck. This is a moral conundrum. This is a moral conundrum of how do I deal with it? And I was like, fuck yes, this is Mass Effect. This is what it's all about. You know what I mean? And like, is that guy, or whatever I choose here, whether I choose to, do whatever with this guy, is that going to haunt me down the line in another game, in this game, or will I never see it again? Like, that's fun. But I did sit there and I was like, fuck, what is the thing here? And that was the deal of, getting to that moment, getting to do a whole bunch of shit off the Tempest, and then coming back to the Tempest and doing let's walk through and talk to every one of my crewmates and walk through and talk to them and have the moments with them and flirt with the ones I wanted to flirt with, or just have a beer or ask more about this level when they mentioned, right? Like, I was like, yeah, okay, this is Mass Effect. This is still Mass Effect. And yeah, like, should the face animate more? Yeah, that'd be great. Does it ruin the game for me? Fuck no. You know what I mean? Like, I don't care about that. The combat, even though I wish I could have like stick to the wall, like cover and like more natural jumping and stuff like that. I love the idea of the way I've been scanning things to get the research points. I made this fucking badass assault rifle last night. And I also, I forget what's level I am right now in the game. I want to say 8 or 9, but I had already had enough points to completely max out my assault rifle tree, because there's so much shit to do, of course. Right. You no longer have to stick to one archetype. You can go put your powers in everything.
So like so obviously when Mass Effect 2 starts, you get to pick whether you want to
be a soldier, biotic, all that jazz. Yeah.
Do you not need to do that in this? Is just one skill?
The whole thing with Pathfinder is you can switch which you are, and so then you have access to everything. You can put it all in wherever you want to go with.
And then how does the Paragon or Renegade?
It's gone.
They
got rid of that. Yeah. So the idea now is like you get to make your choices and do your thing as you go. So every conversation you have, you can interact differently with people, and you can change the way you feel about people, right? Because I think Tan's a great example of that. Like, he's a little bitch when you first meet him or whatever, and then later on he still is, but he's like. But he's kind of being smarmy and we're all on the same page. But then somebody else comes in and confronts him about some stuff, and I'm like, well, they're making a great point. Like, I'm being fluid in the situation. I don't know if that actually is going to affect me or hurt me, or if it's just all superficial stuff. But it's cool. Like, it is good. And that's the thing where it's this weird. I hate saying it because it's one of the cliches Craig Harris always told us never to write at IGN. But it's a mixed bag of like, I think when people talk about it, they're going to talk about this bug and that thing and this stupid thing. But I think that's selling it short for all it does right. And again, the hope would be that when IGN, GameSpot, whoever reviews this, they've put in the 60 hours. And so they have even better eyes for it. Whereas I'm just here like, I loved the preview event, but then playing through it again, I got to see some of the wires, I think, more, especially when I'm on the PlayStation 4. And now, you know what I mean? Like, the long and short of it is, I'm fucking pumped to go home and play more of it tonight. I'm not going to Beauty and the Beast because, I got things to play. I'd rather be playing that. And so I'd rather go do that. And then, like, even though I'm excited for Zelda in Edmonton, I am going to miss Mass Effect, and I do want to get back and see what that story is going to be. You know what I mean? Like, the way it starts, this isn't a real spoiler. Don't worry. They're Scott and Sarah Ryder. They're twins. Whoever you pick to be, whether if you're Scott or you're Sarah, then the other twin, like, something goes wrong with them coming out of cryo-freeze. So it's one of those.
Become the Fly?
No, not yet. I'm hoping. Oh my God. This is it's a spoiler in the lightest sense, not a story spoiler at all, right?
Right.
I'm going through, I get to my Pathfinder's quarters, not captain's, Pathfinder quarters, and I go through my email, right? And one of the emails in there is like, hey, Pathfinder, just a heads up, we want to test like what Andromeda is going to do to monkeys in space or whatever. So if you could come get this creature and put it on your on the Tempest, right? The rules for it are pretty simple. Don't feed it after 11:59 or after 24 or 59 or whatever. Don't let it get near any moisture and keep it away from lights. And I was like, that's really funny. And then it added to my quest, go get this thing. And I'm like, fuck yeah, I'm gonna go get my space monkey or whatever. So I go over there.
You got a space gremlin?
I get the damn thing and I put it in there. Mogwai at this point.
Space Mogwai.
And then it was like, all right, go check it out in the temples. I'm like, fuck yeah. And I walk over and there's this like thing. It doesn't look like a Mogwai, but it's just sitting there. And I'm like, oh man, it's out of its cage. That's weird. And I'm like, oh, I can't wait to see where this goes. It's gonna be like tribbles all over this fucking
you not
place.
put it back in the cage?
No, it's just chilling out there. It's just
You're a terrible
It's totally
captain.
being normal.
You're a
I'm
terrible
the
captain.
Pathfinder. There's a difference.
It's fair enough.
I guess.
I
don't know.
You're still in charge of the fucking gremlins.
His whole rise to Pathfinder, man. It's an interesting. Well, all right, but it's great. It's a great story.
But I mean, is that more compelling to play than the Spectre? Like, is it,
I think so.
Because of the Spectre, there always felt like there was this, and I don't know what the overarching story is, but with the Spectre, there always felt like you were like this last hope. There was this you were in these crazy odds. You're not gonna live, and I guess the other question I have for you is like, is there still?
Well, hold on, let me answer that question.
Sure.
Then. So the answer I think is yes, and I think that they're different odds, right? Where Spectre was like, I'm out there in the front lines. All right, cool. You're the Pathfinder, which gives you a special whole thing to do on, but you are the one now that makes the calls for humanity. We need to find a world for us to live on. Okay. So your team is going out there, investigating these planets, seeing if they're viable, setting up outposts, and then bouncing off to the next one to figure out if you can do it.
Are there consequences for the actions as far as some of the characters? Have you encountered that yet? Do you have a feeling that like, if you make the wrong choices, some of these people aren't going to live to the end of the.
Oh sure. I haven't had that. I mean, this point, I'm just building my crew or whatever. But there are loyalty missions and all that jazz. Okay. So you figure it'll be the same way. I would imagine that two ends, right? That there's going to be a big mission, and I have to assign people the right roles. Otherwise, they're going to die, or they won't even go with me. Yeah. What was your next question?
That was the pressure. There's just a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
That's why it was very stressful for me because I have fear of missing out.
Yeah.
So I don't like making the wrong choice, and I get decision paralysis very quickly.
Sure. Well, I mean that's the thing is I don't, and I think video game choices are usually pretty black and white, right? Like I think the last choice I remember from a video game that's standing out was in Horizon, when there's a little bit of spoilers for Horizon. I was trying to get the trophy for everybody who's going to be with you at the end, and there's that one guy who's like, oh man, cool. And like, you run over after doing all these missions, the bandit camps, and he's like, all right, cool. And you think he makes it sound like he wants to hook up or something. You run over and he's like, all right, cool. Now let's fight to the death. And you're like, didn't see it coming that way. And he's like, you can either fight me or not fight me. I'm like, well, not fight you. I want the trophy. And he's like, oh, you broke my heart because you won't fight me to the death. I'm like, all right, but that was like in 2 seconds. I'm like, I'm not gonna fight this fucker. Yeah, no, you know what I mean? Like, I want the goddamn trophy. So like for this one to be the one of like, fuck. Like, what do I want to do here? That's what makes me excited to go play more and go do more and have those things of what's going to happen to these people.
And you will play more.
I'll keep checking in.
Every day this week.
Oh, good point.
Right there on twitch.tv/kindoffunnygames. Every Monday at 9 a.m.
No, every day. Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. I'm doing, Kevin and I are going to play Mass Effect, where he sits over there and I just have a controller. And
yes. So starting today as you're watching this whole week, Greg will be doing that. So go check that out.
Yeah,
9 a.m. Pacific time.
So to wrap it up the best I can, not because we're in a great spot, right? Because is it out Tuesday or is it out? It's out a week from Tuesday, correct?
Yeah, week from then.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So like, there's still, you can get everybody's reviews, and I'll be able to obviously feed you more information as we go off of these Twitch streams, let alone me just playing and tweeting about it. Because like, there's a lot of great here, but that's the problem of, if this was a new IP and something totally different, you wouldn't have such a fucking standard to get to.
A high bar.
But it's Mass Effect, and that's the thing, was where I think they are going to take it on the chin from a lot of reviewers. And when I say take it on the chin, I mean, I'm not saying fucking 5.5. I'm saying like, 8s, and everybody's gonna be like, whoa, this isn't this wouldn't have happened if Casey Hudson was still around. It's like, that's not fair and all these different things, but I'm super into it. I can't wait to play more. I think the story's really interesting. I think the characters are really interesting. I'm excited. I'm still picking, who do I want my girlfriend to be? What do I want to do here? There's some interesting stuff. Yeah.
Can you have sex with more than one person?
Theoretically, remember, I'm assuming
you're a Pathfinder, so you got to find your way around.
It plays by the old Mass Effect. I think somebody did put it out in some article eventually that you could have sex with more than one person in this game. Good. But I'm telling you right now, I like Suvi. Suvi.
You got your eye on Suvi?
Yeah. Okay. She's got a cute little accent. She's up there on the bridge. Okay. I don't know if I can. She has the heart when I want to talk to her, so I have been dropping the heart conversations in there. But it's still so top level at this moment.
Yeah.
I like what's happening with her.
I believe in you.
I do like.
I will say that it's completely and totally unprofessional for a captain to be seducing members.
But I'm a Pathfinder. It's a different thing.
I don't know about that, though. I still feel like you hold a certain level of authority over these people.
Sure.
They might feel obligated to have sex with you. I just...
Gets messy.
It does get messy. I agree with that.
Hope you enjoyed that video. If you like games content, make sure you click here to subscribe to Kind of Funny Games. And you like movies and comic books and food and other lifestyle stuff, you should click right here. Subscribe to Kind of Funny, our other channel. It's fantastic. And if you want to give us money, click here or here.